All right, everybody, welcome into Tuesday. How are you? I've got my little handsome boy right here wanting some extra mommy love this morning, so we're sitting right here in my chair. Hope everybody's doing great. Let's see what's going on today. Next week, next Tuesday, I am going to do a live class. I haven't done a live class in a long time about this topic. I'm going to be looking at mission and purpose. All right, so we're going to be talking North Node Mastery, and I will be talking about mission and purpose, how it changes, and also how to tell what your mission and purpose is with other people. So if you want to jump onto that, there's a link below. That's live on the 23rd. After that, in October, I'll be traveling, and then we're going to be doing 3 nights live about 2026 astrology to map it for yourself. So any of those things you want to avail yourself of, links are below. All right, let's see what's going on here for this morning. Yeah, full moon energy. I saw the new moon card as I was shuffling. I saw the new moon card. So this has been coming out a lot. Healer, time, there's Saturn, and gratitude. All right, so we are in the middle of this eclipse season, and it is very powerful activation energy, very powerful purge energy. Lots of 2025 to me, this is a bigger picture comment, but 2025 is really a preparation year. There's a lot of water energy going on. I'm going to talk at some length about the water energy this fall. It starts right as soon as we get next week, September 22nd, as soon as we get Mars moving into Scorpio, and we've got a lot going on, Jupiter in Cancer, Saturn in Pisces. So we're having a very strong water fall. Waterfall. And that really has to do with internally getting the vision together, getting yourself sort of aligned emotionally with where you're going and what you want to do. Next year is a lot of activation energy. So this fall can be a lot about preparation. All right, preparing for a very dynamic year, a very powerful year of 2026. This year has been and we're only in September. So, we still have a few months to go in this year. But I really feel like this year is about like an internal kind of sorting system. All right. Internally, we're sorting out like who we want to be, where we want to go as a collective, but also as individuals. Who do you want to be and where do you want to go? And that's going to be an important discussion that you're having internally this fall. And next year, really starting with that February 20th with Saturn, Neptune conjuncting in the sign of Aries. That is really the launching moment, 0 degrees of Aries. So this fall, especially, as soon as we hit winter, winter's a different matter, but all fall, we have a lot of water energy. So there's going to be a lot of that emotional kind of churning and, roiling around inside you. And when I see Saturn here, Saturn, the time card in Pisces, there's this says to me, we just had that full moon in Pisces, okay, more water, and we have this healer energy. There's something here about purging the old self, okay, purging the old self. And a lot of times that can be really painful because we don't really want all of it to go. We don't want, maybe there's some things that you want to keep. And I feel like you can, but I feel like there's more of a focus on healing the parts that need to go, or you're in separation with somebody, healing those attachments, detaching. I'm hearing a lot about that. That's probably that Pluto energy in Aquarius that is reverberating, especially because that is in very strong trine to Uranus in Gemini. Uranus is retrograde, Pluto is retrograde. So there's a lot of like, I don't know about backpedaling, but I feel like there's a sense of like, whoa, okay, I got my toes in the sand here a little bit. Ooh, okay, now I'm kind of understanding or maybe seeing the temperature or seeing the future a little bit in terms of what's needed. Okay. And so this sense of like that full moon in Pisces really shining a light on how much healing really needs to happen and how much the spiritual community is going to be sort of leading, not sort of leading that effort. And there's going to be a lot of rifts that need mending, which may be happening over this fall. It's not about so it's don't mistake me saying rifts that need mending for everybody all of a sudden like wallpapering over their differences and not really getting into it, because water is very deep energy, especially Scorpio. Okay. And Lilith is there. So there's a thing about independence. There's a thing about my own power, my own kind of power. Uranus in retrograde, trining Pluto in retrograde at that 1 degree, 0 degrees is really very strong energy about, where we're going. But there's something that needs to be healed before we go there. And I think there's a lot of things that need to be healed, really healed, not wallpapering over the cockroaches, really healed. So the conversations that Uranus in Gemini, the conversations that maybe started this summer, okay, because Uranus is going to go back into Taurus, and there's a feeling of like wanting safety and security in what I say. All right, there might be a drive to be very cautious about what you say coming up this fall. But there's also a sense of, all right, but I know better now. I know why I'm saying this stuff. I'm not just saying something to be accepted into a group, although Uranus backing into Taurus certainly has that air about it, Taurus being all about safety and security, that kind of thing. It's really about knowing who you are so that you can find the correct tribe, right? If you were part of a tribe that you no longer align with, this is a time of finding new tribe, okay? And healed tribe. I want to be able to be myself, authentically myself, because that is the age of Aquarius. And so there could be a lot of like changing tribes, something about that, like really seeing where you belong in terms of your authentic nature, and then cultivating those relationships, and also seeing where you don't belong, where you're just like, okay, that's totally not who I am, nor is it who I'm becoming. So there could be something collective about that, about like who we are becoming. But this is on an individual level that I'm getting here right now. Yep. Wheel of Fortune, 3 of Swords, the Cancer card of the Chariot, Leo card of the Strength, of the Strength, 8 of Swords, and I am getting this Wisdom card, which I love. There's the Aries card too. So there's something here about healing old wounds. Now, this can be a sense of like, I just didn't see it correctly. I just didn't see this relationship correctly. I didn't see my own role in this correctly. Like maybe you thought that this was a business relationship, turns out to be a romantic relationship, or vice versa. Maybe it's like, I just didn't see it. I wasn't really seeing who this person is to me. Jupiter energy here. And Jupiter is in Cancer right now. Jupiter, historical ruler of Pisces, and the modern ruler of Sagittarius. Cancer ruled by the moon, the Strength card. So the I'll get to the moon in a second here, but the Leo energy of the Strength card, and then the Virgo energy. There's the moon. The full moon, or sorry, the new moon at 29 degrees of Virgo is going to be informing this. So the new moon is saying, okay, you've been through this full moon purge in Pisces and this full moon of this emotional eruption, and now, like, let's make a system about it, because 29 degrees is the final degree of Virgo. So we've been through a Virgo cycle here, going from, this idealized Virgo energy about, it's a little, okay, Mike Tyson, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth, right? That's a very famous quote by Mike Tyson. And I feel like that's what's going on here. Like, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth, until there's a significant setback or a significant difficulty that shows you how, like, wait a second, I don't really believe in this. You're like, gears are mashing up in your head. Wait a second, I didn't see this person as who they truly are. Wait a second. So there's, this time energy of like, wait a second. It almost feels like this week, as we're leading up to the new moon in Virgo, and the new moon in Virgo eclipse energy, which is an activator energy at 29 degrees, says, hold on, I wasn't thinking about this correctly. I have a different idea for how this can play out. Virgo really aligns with the details and what is healthy for me. And because the healer card is there. So I'm going to heal my connections to things that I did not see clearly. I was given a social construct that this is who I'm supposed to like, follow, love, be aligned with, whatever. I was given a social construct around that. And now I'm like, wait a second. I don't really feel that way. And like authentic feelings kind of boiling up. So this new moon, I mean, this eclipse season has been off the hook, right? 4 of Pentacles, High Priestess, 8 of Cups. So Venus, something about Venus here. Hang on one second. There's the King of Cups, 5 of Wands, more Cancer energy, King of Swords, Libra energy, High Priestess, Cancer, again, Cancerian energy with the moon. So there's something between head and heart here with the King of Cups and the King of Swords. There's a battle raging between your head and your heart. And, what you think and what you feel. Those two things may be a little bit, or have been, really out of alignment. And there's like a scramble here, mostly because of other people. Like you've been been brainwashed, or you've had this idea about how things are supposed to work in the world, or how people are, who people are, or something like that. And you're kind of, whoa, I'm seeing it now. I'm starting to trust my intuition. It's anchored in my true values, not in a societal expectation that I have, or what what was considered the right thing to do. I have my own values, and I'm going to align with my intuition and values. I'm healing some societal constructs that are not true, or what I'm being told. I'm really now, if you're being told, like, I want you to really pay attention to who's talking to you. It's not just the message, it's where it's coming from. Pay attention to where things come from. That's a real King of Swords thing to do. All right. I'm paying attention not only to the message, but who is saying it. Very important. The Sun, a lot of Leo here, lots of Leo. The Sun, the King of Wands, and the 3 of Wands. Now, the King of Wands to me is Aries. It's a cardinal sign, fire. But in this deck, it's clearly Leo, right? You can see the big Lion King. This is also Leo, this Sun card, because that's the ruling planet of Leo. And then there's this 3 of Wands about new sets of expectations based on this fiery, this is more like next year that I was talking about, this fiery energy. We're moving a lot into fire next year. And I'll talk more about that in that 2026 class that I'm going to be giving, about how to harness the energies of next year, how to benefit from what's going on this year, how to get yourself into the right position for what's happening next year. So the 8 of Cups says to me that what I was holding on to as probably a belief system, my intuition is coming online. So some of you who were raised in families that gaslit you, that told you you weren't good enough, that told you you weren't creative enough, weren't pretty enough, weren't handsome enough, weren't powerful enough, you're kind of like seeing the bullshit and all that. Okay, you're definitely seeing that. And going in another direction, going in a true, it's like, this wasn't terrible, but it's not who I authentically am. And so I'm moving away from that, what I was told, what I was taught. I feel like that's going to come up a lot for people. And definitely there's a head versus a heart thing, that, when new information comes online and your intuition is going, You know what? That's right. Then there's this battle between like, hearts and minds, right? That's always been the battle of hearts and minds. So we're seeing that. And this is a personal message to those of you who are working on your healing and doing a lot of making a lot of good progress. And then this water stuff that happens this fall, lots more, we had a little fiery summer here, but that water stuff that happens this fall, really bringing things to the surface. Okay. So there can be old pains, old hurts being brought to the surface for healing. So, okay, there's something about messages coming through that says you can transmute any energy within you that you are now seeing is out of alignment with your values or out of alignment with who you're becoming. And you can transmute that energy into fuel. Next year is the fire energy about taking action. It's a really, really beautiful energy. And it's like, if you lay down the correct foundation for next year, all you're doing next year is receiving. 3 of Wands, receiving, because you're kind of already on your way here. You're really embracing that, because I feel like you've moved. It's not that your heart isn't as powerful as your head, because it's actually the other way around. You're needing to realize that those of you who have like kind of blown off the heart as being too soft, or, realize that empathy is a superpower. And that's part of what this healing is going to be about, is that empathy aligned with values can move mountains. And recognizing that the mind can easily be duped, right? If you get flooded with information and it's kind of bringing up wounds, and it's explaining why wounds happened or what happened. Like, you can be easily led astray by connecting the dots that don't really belong together, right? You're the cause and effect thing about like, every time I wear my red socks, some big famous person dies. Or every time I go down this road, my boss is in a foul mood when I get to work, right? These things don't really have anything in common, but you're making the connection yourself. Okay. You're making that connection. So think about the things in your life that you're kind of have put together and believe them. Like, every time I go down this road, when I get to work, my boss is in a foul mood. So you avoid that road like the plague. And there is something in the Pisces energy right now that is surfacing some of these old things, these old wounds, and really connecting the dots for you. Like, actually, you get triggered by this boss's mood because you're a people pleaser, and that came from growing up. So you get really super triggered by that. You get super triggered by being misunderstood. This fall, we are going to have a 4-planet stellium in the sign of Sagittarius. And so honesty and truth are going to be extremely powerful as we get to December. So I feel like we're going into into this place of how I feel about all the fiery conversation or fiery fighting about truth and what truth is, or complete lack of truth, or something like that. You can see it in your own personal life. I've been fighting to believe the lie. I'm not believing the lie anymore. Okay. That's what's going to be unfolding. I've been fighting to believe a lie. And now I see that it's a lie. All right. Now I see it's a lie, going from my intuition about something. So I'm having the High Priestess and the King of Cups is intuitive. And like, deep down, you've just been kind of blocking it. Deep down, but you've been like, no, I need to keep this person in my life, or no, this is a family member. No, I can't purge them. No, this is something I can't do. But now it's kind of like, yeah, that is what's happening, that this is not in alignment with me. So we're getting this conflict with people who are all up in their head right now. The Devil card, the 9 of Pentacles, the 10 of Pentacles, and the 4 of Swords. So a lot of healing coming online. This fall, I'm going to drill down in the rest of eclipse season for this reading just to try to bring it back in. I want to look at what we don't see coming. Well, let's look at the next 30 days and how this plays out. This feels to me like you're starting to really trust your intuition, and your intuition, not only just trust it, but like your intuition is coming online and can point out, right? Remember what I said about who is talking to you? Can point out the things you believe and where they come from. So it's not just like, oh, well, that's how life works. No, wait a second. This person told me that. And this, knowing who they are and knowing what their frame of reference is in their life, now I can kind of go, oh, this is their opinion based on the lens that they look through. Okay? So you might be unearthing a lot of belief systems that you have that absolutely are not true. And that brings in the opportunity to transmute into a lot of wisdom. All right. So let's keep going as we get towards the new moon, 29 degrees of Virgo eclipse, solar eclipse. All right. Link is below if this is your reading. I'll see you over there. All right. I hope you enjoyed that video. If it was helpful to you, please consider liking this video and sharing it with anybody who might have a need for similar kind of information. And if you like this video, check out these videos.